This show is sponsored by Horizon Studios. Hello everyone, I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Lauren Nicole, and welcome to Self Care Club. Today we're going old school. We're testing out a practice.
Yep.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
We first saw
Not that old
this.
school. We did one a few weeks ago with foot pads.
I know, but I love it when we throw it back to the practices. It makes me feel like we're doing OG shows. We saw this first on Goop Lab, that show that Gwyneth had on Netflix, which featured a session of herself having a spinal energetics session. And it looked so kind of mad. These people writhing and rolling and almost this choreography on a massage table when someone wasn't even touching them. I thought, I've got to have me a piece of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to check out what this is all about.
So we have.
Yeah.
And Spinal Energetics, in case you've never heard of it, because we hadn't until we watched Goop Lab, it's a form of energy work. It combines Eastern and Western thought. It interacts with a person's spine and nervous system and energy field, and it harnesses a person's innate wisdom to know and heal themselves.
So the intention behind it is to support people in achieving balance through light yet powerful touch, sometimes often no touch. An organic flow of movement and sound begins and progresses to shift, unwind, discover and release tension, resistance and limitations that you might have been storing in your body. The movements and sounds are natural and primordial. They are a response to the treatment and driven by an individual's energy, intuition and instinct. It's quite woo-woo and it's quite out there.
Definitely both of those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are a lot of benefits.
Yeah. Being freer in your body, things like more energy, stronger immunity, an increased ability to adapt to stress, making healthier lifestyle choices, being able to deal with adversity, and greater alignment and integration of your body, emotion, mind, and spirit.
Yes. So traditionally, a session will last about 50 minutes to an hour. And it consists of 3 parts. An opening, that they use the breath to encourage greater opening and calm and energy flow through your body. And then you dive deep. That's the spinal energetics part, working with the spine, nervous system and energy field to help release and unwind blockages across all aspects of our being, like physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. And then there's the integration at the end, which is a deep relaxation and Reiki to integrate the experience.
Yeah. So for our week, we enlisted the help of Anna Sophie Frogner, who runs Inner Works. She is a qualified breathwork, KST, Reiki and spinal energetics practitioner. And this is what she had to say. Hi, Anna. Welcome to Self Care Club.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
I'm
so
very
much.
excited to be here.
Thanks so much for gifting us both treatments. We're very excited to go and do it with you on Saturday. We don't know a lot about what to expect. So could you give us kind of just a broad outline, kind of what spinal energetics is, what you do, and what to expect on the day?
Yes, absolutely. Most people come with that question because it is a little bit different than what most of us are used to. It's really a way for us to connect more deeply with ourselves. So this work is all about really activating our own self-healing mechanism. And when we start to do that, we'll experience typically that we have physical sensations or emotions that come up as a result. It's a really, really good way of going very deep within and starting the process to release any built up stress, any built up anxiety, rebalance our nervous system, and sort of just clean up a little bit in terms of the limiting patterns that we all carry, just because most of our inner world is ruled by our subconscious and our unconscious mind. And we all store a little bit of everything there, whether it's limiting beliefs, suppressed emotions, or even physical pain and tension. So it's really a way of going within and activating the part of us that is infinitely wise and has the answers in terms of how we rebalance our system, how we restore optimal balance, and how we sort of bring ourselves back into a state where our nervous system is much calmer, more regulated. So it's sort of a self-healing. I always say it's about activating our own self-healing mechanism, if you will. I think that's the best way to describe it.
And how do the treatments work? How long do they last? And what can we expect when we come in? Do we lie down? Do we have to move? Do we get undressed? Like what should we expect?
So it's fully dressed. And I always say wear comfortable clothes just in case movement occurs, so you're not restricted. And it is, so if it's a one-to-one session, I do both group sessions and one-to-ones. If it's a one-to-one session, unless it's online, you'll be on a massage table, lying face down for the session. I'll activate on your physical body, on the neck and sacrum to sort of start the process. But otherwise, I'm actually going to be working in your energy fields.
So you're not touching?
So there's really not a lot of touch. I touch the neck and the sacrum to activate the processes, and we can go into that a bit later in terms of what's actually going on and how that bit works. But throughout most of the session, I work off the body, so in your energy field. And the reason we do that is because then we don't just work on your physical self, but we're able to also work on your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, and sort of the list goes on. It's very, for most people at first, it feels a little bit intangible, that there's not a lot of physical touch, and it's sort of mainly off body. But what most people then start to experience is that actually it makes the experience even deeper and more intense, because we're able to work on several aspects of ourselves. So in that sense, it's very holistic. We can work, not just on the physical aspect of ourselves, but also if there are any bound up emotions or limiting beliefs with that, we can address the full spectrum.
Okay. And is it quiet? Is it silent? Is it loud? Is it?
So as a client, I always say the way you go deeper with this work is really focusing within. So closing your eyes and really focus on what you feel in your body. So this work is all about temporarily shutting this one off, the thinking mind, and moving into the feeling mind. So as the client, you'll be focusing on your breath and on any physical sensations that you feel in your body. For me, I am making quite a lot of sound. There's a lot of sort of throughout the session, and those sounds are really to encourage the energy to open up and start moving through the body.
Okay. I mean, does it give you energy to do it, or is it quite a tiring process for you to facilitate?
I absolutely love it. For me, it feels like a meditation. My being goes into quite a very relaxed meditative state. I'm really not thinking a lot. It's just intuitive, the whole session. So I actually really like full working days. I used to have a corporate career, and that was very different. I'd feel very tired by the end of the day. Yeah. But here I actually feel invigorated, and I feel like I've spent many hours meditating throughout the day. So it's actually really nice. Yeah.
And who comes to you, and what sort of things do people come to you for? Is there a theme, or is it from all walks of life?
It's really all walks of life. And that's something that continues to amaze me, in that you'll have people that are obviously already, they've done energy work and they're just curious. They want to reach even higher frequencies and explore themselves and their own inner magic even more. But you also have people that have, autoimmune issues, that have a lot of stress, a lot of trauma, physical pain, can be anything really. And a lot of the time.
Sorry, the dog. The dog is.
Oh, don't worry. I can't hear anything.
That's where
can't hear anything.
That's where she went. She went to throw the dog out, and he is literally at the door going.
I will actually say that dogs usually, pets in general, they love being part of the sessions. So if I do online sessions, usually the pets will come in and be part of it.
Come on.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
On something that's going on.
Of course, I think honestly, I think they do. And in the beginning, they're a bit confused as to what's going on and why is there all this energy. Oh, so sweet.
Silly boy.
Sorry.
Oh, don't worry at all.
Tell me a bit more about this switching on at the neck and the sacrum. What do you mean by that? What's going on when you're doing that?
So as part of the treatment, we assess which ones of we work with the chakras. Mm-hmm. So we assess which ones of your chakras are the most energy rich. And then I activate those, by accessing your energetic spines, I would call them, in your neck and on your sacrum, because then I can access your full spine. And so once I've assessed which chakras to work on, I sort of go in, and it almost feels a bit like someone is turning a key. There's a little bit of physical pressure and then sound. And most people in the beginning, when they first experience, they're like, what is going on? But they feel it, and they can almost, a lot of my clients can feel a sort of buzzing underneath when I do activate. And then I sort of go into their field and see how far away from the physical body I can go. Because, and this sounds really strange, but the further away I am from your physical body, the deeper the experience will be. Because then we don't just work on your physical body, but then we also work on your emotional, mental, the list goes on. Because there's so much more to us than this bit. We're all the way out here. And when we do this work as well, over time, we'll have almost like a sense of our energy field expanding, good and bad, because obviously it's great in the sense that we become even more in tune with ourselves and aware of what's going on. But we also tend to become even more sensitive of other people's energy and aware in terms of this is my energy, this is your energy. But yeah, it's very special.
And would you say it was to heal? So is it a healing process? Is it to align? Like, can you clarify that a bit more for us? Like, why should we be having it or coming to you?
Absolutely. So it's really all about your intention, in the sense that you can use it to heal, whether you have a physical condition, whether you have trauma, whether that's mental or emotional or a combination of all things. But you can also do it to gain more clarity on next steps in life. Or, some people do it because they're very curious in terms of just exploring higher frequencies and going deeper in their own sort of exploration of their spiritual self. So it's really all about your intention and why you want to do this work, because it can work on so many. And that's why most of my clients come back and they'll do a number of sessions, because each session is completely different. Some sessions might be a lot of physical movement and you'll literally feel like you've had a 4-hour boot camp workout afterwards and just feel tired, ready to go to bed. Sometimes it's a lot of releasing of emotions and deep stuff from childhood or past experiences can come up. And other times, people will have like see geometry, go into yoga poses and make hand signs. and have a very spiritual experience. So you can kind of keep on doing this work and exploring all these different aspects of yourself. But I would say probably most of my clients do it because they have a specific intention in terms of, I want to heal my nervous system. I want to get rid of the excess stress. I want to move more into my body and be less in my head. Those are the sort of typical.
I am so curious.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to hear about Lauren's experience, because I just don't know how you're going to find it. It's going to be really interesting. We've done so many practices over the years together, and even now, before we start the practice, we know each other so well that we know exactly how the other one is going to take to it. But this, I have absolutely no idea how she's going to take to it, and I'm curious for myself. I'm curious to see what comes up.
Ditto. Yeah.
And what you'll probably find is that your experiences are completely different.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Always.
And also, I think I'm coming at a good point, because I've had so much physical pain because I've had these 2 back things going on. And I've also had so much emotional and mental stress going on that actually, I mean, I think you're going to be exhausted after my session. I hope you're not. But I'm very much looking forward to it.
Don't worry about that at all. I have a lot of my clients release a lot of stuff during the sessions, but I don't absorb or pick it up. We just sort of open the window afterwards and off it goes, and that's it.
That's good.
Yeah, but it is, and most of my clients, you know, they come at just the right time in terms of they've already at a conscious level, you know, they're aware of what they want to work on, they have a clear intention, and that really makes it so important for this. And of course, to be open-minded in terms of just having an intention, but not necessarily an expectation of the session being a certain way. I think the more open-minded we are, the better, because we may consciously have an idea of what we want and how the session will run. But if our subconscious and unconscious have a different idea of that, then the session might be completely different.
Yeah.
Sometimes people come in because they want to work, say, on their throat, and they are very aware of some issues related to this area. But then we end up working with the lower chakras in the lower part of the body. So you can never really tell until the session starts.
And I guess whatever comes up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In perfect symphony.
Your inner wisdom, and that's the magic of this work, because it's really hard not to fall more in love with ourselves and not to feel more powerful and magical. Because when we connect with this part of us that just starts to move us and quite literally communicate with us, it's the most beautiful thing. And why, like, of all things we can do in terms of healing, most of it requires some sort of expert to tell us what to do, give us a process or a routine to follow. Yeah. And this work is really about going within and learning to trust that we actually do have the answers ourselves. And we do have the capacity to go within and to start this process of self-healing. And we didn't talk much about the sort of movements, but typically what starts to happen is that people experience their body moving. And I know this sounds really strange, but your body may start to move without you consciously directing it.
Amazing.
Yes. So this, yes. I saw this on the Goop Lab with Gwyneth Paltrow, which was kind of, that's where I first heard about it. And when you're watching that show, the people on it are very extreme, like very, their bodies are undulating and their spines are lifting and their necks, and they're almost dancing on the table. Yeah. And then, looking at it, you're thinking, is that performative? Are they doing that on purpose? Is that going to happen to me? So, don't know how that's going to go.
No, exactly. And what I will say is most people feel that way. And I love after the sessions when clients are like, okay, I was very skeptical when I came into this, but now I experience these weird movements that for sure is not something that I've made up. And they're just so excited by the fact that you can, because the movements, if they come, and typically in the beginning, it takes a little bit longer for these very deep, very sort of expressive movements to come through. But when they happen, you're in no doubt that it's not the conscious part of you directing it, because you just wouldn't move that way. I have people going into, some of my more advanced clients that have come to see me for several sessions. Maybe they have a background in yoga or other spiritual practices. They will go into, deep back bends, into yoga poses. And some of them will do stretches or poses that they say afterwards, I wouldn't be able to go into this pose outside of the session. Okay. What happened? Yeah.
Wow.
But just to manage expectations, because I think that's really important with this work. Mostly in the beginning, it's more of a meditative experience. And it's more sort of building and strengthening the mind-body connection. And so the most important part of it is to actually really feel into the physical sensations. And in the beginning, there may not be much movement, but quite often we can still feel certain areas of our body starting to communicate with us. Maybe some parts get very hot, some parts might get very cold, some parts might not feel like they're even part of our energetic circuitry, like they might feel very just numb. Some parts you might be able to sense some tingling, some buzzing, some vibration. There may even be a bit of shaking. Usually in the beginning, the movements are a bit sort of jerkier, twitchier, and sometimes they feel a little bit sort of disintegrated. But the more we go in and the more we unblock and integrate and build out our energetic circuitry, the more we will get these movements that you saw in Goop, which are more like a wave that courses through the spine and the body.
Okay. Wow.
Well, we are very much looking forward to it.
We are.
So, and we're going to report back. Thank you so much for being part of the club. If people, well, not if, when people want to hear more about your work, where can they find you, Anna?
So it's very simple. Both my website and Instagram is innerworks.studio.
Lovely.
Innerworks.studio. Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anna, thank you so much for being part of the club.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited to meet you both in person and have you experience the magic of this.
This episode is sponsored by Horizon Studios.
If you're travelling this year and looking for high quality, sustainable and beautifully designed luggage, then look no further than Horizon Studios, who've launched 2 new ranges. The RE series, the world's most sustainable 97% recycled luggage, and now the revolutionary Air series, the world's lightest high-end suitcase.
And I can agree, it is so light, isn't it, Lauren? Because we got one
amazing.
Each. It really is amazing, and I love to overpack. If you have airport anxiety, like me, worrying about the weight of your case, when it goes on those scales, I do it every time, then I'm telling you the Air series is for you. The Air series pushes the boundaries of travel, and each detail is designed and engineered to combine an ultralight and durable product. It's significantly lighter than regular suitcases and comes with a lifetime warranty, because the most sustainable suitcase is one that you only buy once. We used the cases to go to Paris and Wales last year, and as chronic overpackers, we could still wheel them with ease.
We could. Ultralight and compact, the Air series is made from a premium polycarbonate hard shell with reduced thickness and a recycled lining. It's 100% vegan and produced in a way that is 99% waste-free, blending design and function seamlessly. So, Nicole, you can pack those extra 5 pairs of shoes with no stress.
The entire range is available on the Horizon Studios website and in all leading department stores. Go to www.horizon.studio www.horizon, that's HORIZN-studios.com. That's www.horizon-studios.com.
Horizon Studio. Let's go further.
So
It's
Tuesday.
Yeah.
We did this on Saturday.
Yes.
I went first, and then when I came out for my session, you were there, so you went straight in after. We have not discussed it at all.
Not even one sentence.
No.
And even like afterwards, in the time I've seen you, we just haven't mentioned how we got along.
No.
And I've been very curious.
Yeah, me too.
Do you want to go first or shall I?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first.
Okay.
So I really didn't know what any of it was about. I kind of walked in very open, very curious, and very ready to just let it unfold.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do too much research into it because I didn't want to make my mind up about any of it. If you're a listener of the show, you'll know that I've had these back operations and I've been at a very low ebb and I've been very hormonal and I'm very physically tired, and there's just I've had a lot of stress and a lot of stuff going on in my life recently, which is mentally and physically quite draining.
Yeah.
So I feel like I came to this with, I guess, at the right time. And I really felt like I needed it,
Yeah.
but I didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
So I walked in. It was at this lovely centre called the Life Centre in
Yeah.
Notting Hill. And Anna met me there, and she is a ray of light, isn't she?
Yes.
She
is mesmerizingly pretty.
Yeah. In a very model-esque, very tall, very graceful, very
Elegant.
She's
feminine.
just
lovely.
She just had the most beautiful energy
Yeah.
about her. And
Yeah.
I could not take my eyes off
Me
her.
neither. I just couldn't stop looking at her because she's just lovely.
But radiant.
Yeah.
Totally radiant.
Yeah.
So the minute I saw her, I felt safe.
Yeah.
And I felt like I really wanted to be in her presence
Yeah.
and treated by her.
Yes.
Which I think is a real... We've seen a lot of facilitators over the years.
Oh, we've seen many. And I think that, I mean, you get an instinct like within a minute whether
Yeah.
you're buying into this or you're not buying into it.
Yeah.
Based on the practitioner and how they're coming to the session, you know.
And so she explained it exactly as she did in the intro.
Yeah.
She told us exactly what she's told you guys listening at home. And did she do the same to you?
Yes, she
So
did,
it was like
yeah.
a 5-minute rundown of what I can expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And with the sounds and the shh,
Yeah.
you'll hear things like that. And then I laid on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes you through some breath work.
Yeah.
You have to breathe in, you have to hold it, and then you have to breathe out through your mouth and just try and get this fluid flow of breath coming in and out of your body. So she
Yeah.
does that for about 4 minutes, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then she turns you round on the bed and you're facing down on the massage bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she puts the music on. That music was sensational. She's even shared the playlist with me. And I found that music just really took you on a journey. It started off with like some African beats and then it just kind of progresses throughout your journey, I
Do you know
guess.
what's so funny? I barely noticed the music. Like,
I was very, very, very involved in the music.
I wasn't even really aware of it. I knew it was playing, but I wasn't really aware of it.
See, I think it was a big part of the treatment.
That's funny because it wasn't for me at all. Weird.
Anyway, she
Yeah.
kind of encourages you to move a bit. She's not touching you.
No.
And when she does touch you, she touches you for about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's on, as she said in the intro, it's on your neck and your sacrum,
Yeah.
lower sacrum. And that's where all my back pains have been.
Yeah.
And that's where my scar is. And,
Yeah.
And so I felt quite vulnerable when she was touching me there, but it also felt right.
Yeah.
And it's such a light touch.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
not
yeah.
massaging
No, no, no.
anything. And all she's doing is
Activating.
activating. That's right. And she did that 3 times throughout the session. So she activates throughout the session. What can I tell you? This music was sensational. The energy that was flowing through my body was I guess you don't ever sit and focus on your body very often. And when you are given the opportunity to sit and listen to some powerful music with this beautiful facilitator and you're lying down and all she wants you to do is focus on your breath and then sensations running through your body, it's quite something. Because you're suddenly in tune with a whole inner world, funnily enough, that you're not really conscious of on a day-to-day basis when you're busy running around and doing and working and kids and picking up and whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. So there's all this energy running through my body. And at one point, I could feel my arms opening up in front of me. So they would be so I was like in a Superman position.
Yeah.
I was not opening my arms.
Yeah. They just opened.
They were opening.
Yeah.
And it was like there was this ball of energy in my arms. I can't even explain it. It was magnificent. And I knew I wasn't opening my arms, but I knew my arms, they might not have been, but they felt like they were.
Yeah.
My eyes were closed. I don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time she's moving around. I'm not aware of where she is, but you can just hear noises.
Yeah, there's a lot. She makes quite a lot of shushing and whooshing and very loud noises as she's around your body, but you don't know where she is.
But you also get used to it quite quickly.
Yeah.
Don't you? And then she'll make a noise and suddenly I would jolt and anyway. So that was happening and there was this energy running through my body. That was the beginning of the session. And then I had this image of when my girls were little, actually not even that little, it was up until a couple of years ago, we would always go in a swimming pool on holiday and Daisy would jump on the front and Lily Rose would jump on the back. And they would always have a fight over who could get one of them off, right? And it was just a thing that we used to do. But I would essentially be carrying them around the swimming pool, both of them on me and carrying them around. And I had this image, I was like flying in the air. Lily Rose was on my back.
Yeah.
Daisy was on my front.
Yeah.
So she was like, they were both straddling me. And I said to Daisy's my 16-year-old, and I said to her, you can get off the front now.
Oh, okay.
So she said, I don't want to. And I said, no, you have to get off the front now, but I'm going to hold your hand. So I sort of like peeled her off the front and she's like, Mummy, I'm not ready. And I said, you are ready because you can fly on your own.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to hold your hand. So you're not always on your own, but you need to fly next to me now.
I love it.
Right? So she starts flying next to me and Lily Rose is still on my back.
I love it. So
I know.
sweet.
And I said, Lily Rose wasn't saying anything and she kept looking at me worried. And I said to her, it's okay. And Lily Rose is not ready to come off yet because I need to carry her for a bit longer. And we were just like flying in the air with this amazing
But could you
image.
hear it? Like when you were having this, could you like hear their voices or were you just...
It was just
Do you know
energy.
what I mean? Was it like a
just,
dream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a dream. It was like being in a different state.
Yeah.
But I was awake.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was hypnotized or anything. I could have opened my eyes at any point and had a conversation with Anna.
Yeah.
So this image was with me for quite a while and it was very profound. And with all, there's been a lot of stuff going on with my girls. And so there was a deep sense of peace around that. And it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, so that was that. And then there was this need to, and I was moving around a little bit. I wasn't getting up or anything.
Did she encourage you to?
Yeah. She says
like stretch your legs.
She could see there were certain things I wanted to move. So she was like, just move, just do what you need to do. And then I sat in child's pose.
Yeah.
This is quite near the end. And she said, just stay, just do whatever you need to do. And then there was like this message from above of, you need to be in self-protection now. And you just need to protect yourself, your energy. Just be kind to yourself, have compassion for yourself. All of these beautiful things that were I was reminded that it's okay for you to take whatever time you need, however you need to do that, but just protect yourself and your energy.
Nice.
So that I can be there to carry my girls.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually made a voice note when I came out.
Yeah.
And also, she then integrates and she turns you around and you do a bit more breath work and she does a bit of Reiki on you and then you come to and I couldn't say anything. I think I said that at the end of the interview. I had no words. It's not like we had a whole download of what happened. It's like she doesn't really even need to know. It's amazing.
Yeah, she doesn't know, and you don't tell her anything about anything that's up with you.
No.
No.
There's no talking
No.
involved. I have a voice note of when I came out.
Nice.
I think that was one of the most powerful spiritual practices I've ever had, ever done, ever been a part of in my life. That was powerful, emotional, special, eye-opening, heart-opening, just peaceful, uplifting. It was literally everything. I can't put words to how I feel right now, apart from I feel like deeply emotional, grateful and peaceful, and I like kind of want to cry, but I want to laugh, and I'm feeling literally everything. Sad, happy, energetic, lethargic. Like I literally feel everything, and I like it, and it's good, and it's a lot, and wow, just I think this is going to take days to kind of settle and process. It was beautiful.
You sound like you're on a horse.
Well, it was pouring with rain, so they were my windscreen wipes. I was sat in the car.
How have you felt in the days since? How did you feel like that night and the next day?
So she said, you might feel quite tired,
Yeah.
you might feel quite drained.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's a shame. I thought I'd be like really uplifted. And I did actually feel quite tired.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit, she said you could have like physical sensations. I felt a bit throaty and I haven't felt amazing.
Yeah.
But Anna did say that would absolutely happen because it just needs to process and everything needs to settle down.
Yeah.
And whilst I was on a high in that moment of that voice note, and I really was, I haven't felt like that. And I will definitely go back to her.
Yeah.
I would like to have another session.
Yeah.
And I then plucked up the courage to tell Daisy about
Yeah.
the session. I wouldn't tell Lily Rose because
No.
she'll just think I'm really weird. She will.
She will just shit all over that lovely experience. Oh my God, you're such a beg.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's so sad.
You are so sad.
Yeah. It's such a pick-me.
I don't even want to be on you in the swimming pool.
Yeah. I'm not on your back. What are you talking about? But she is.
Nothing like a teenager
And
to
she
trash.
needs to be, she does need to be on my back for a while longer. I told Daisy.
Yeah.
And Daisy's so spiritual
Yeah.
and she's so in tune with this
Yeah.
stuff. And she just cried, like really cried. And she's like, Mummy, stop it. I don't like it. I said, why don't you like it? She goes, I don't know. And I said, but is this like hitting? It like really resonated with her.
Of course it did.
And then I gave her a big hug and I
Yeah.
said, I'm not letting go of your hand though.
Yeah.
But you are going to fly on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like sobbing.
Yeah. But I get that.
Because
Knowing
you-
Daisy, I get
Yeah.
it. Because, yeah.
Yeah, because you see me and Daisy together
Daisy would be in a baby Bjorn carrier
for the rest of her life.
given the choice.
Yeah. I've
would.
always said
She would.
if I allowed it, she would still want to be carried around in my uterus.
Yeah. Yeah. She would. It's true.
So that was
Wow.
my experience.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That is big.
And
I
you
wasn't
know-
expecting that.
And I've had we'll talk about it in summary.
Okay. Okay.
Come
Wow.
on, now tell me yours.
We'll go to a break and then I'll tell you how I got on. So Anna was recommended by a friend of mine who went, and her husband also went, and they both had an amazing experience. So I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting like a lot, which was maybe unfair.
Yeah, because expectation is the mother of all sin.
Yes. Lovely. You are very profound today.
You know
Where's
what?
this coming from?
Probably the energy healing.
Okay. Love it.
I am actually, aren't I? I was
Yeah.
yesterday as well.
Love it. Love it for you.
Do you?
Yeah. It's a whole new you. It's like a guru thing you've got going on. And also, I did say to you before we went, it's going to be one of those things where I like don't think much and then it like changes my life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the spiritual or energy practices we've done, I go in skeptical and then this huge stuff happens to me and then I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. It's like,
Well, it
rocked
taps
my
into your
world.
spiritual side, and I don't think you allow enough space for that in your world.
Yeah, like the crystal healing and the cranium and all this
The
stuff.
angel therapy.
Oh my God, that was unreal. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff I would poo-poo then has this massive effect on me. So I was very, very open to whatever was going to happen. I didn't really know what it was going to feel like or be like, but I just thought, yeah, I'm really up for this. I really want to go. I'm really open to however this pans out for me. I wasn't feeling very well the day that we went. I had a really sore throat and I was feeling really under par. But because Anna is not often in London, she works all around the world. I thought, I can't cancel, and I really want to go. So I wasn't feeling at my best. And I also wasn't sure if she was going to ask, is there anything up with you today or anything you want to work on? But she didn't say anything.
She doesn't ask a thing. I found that really interesting.
Yeah, me too. So same as you, she gave me a very clear explanation of what I could expect. We did the breathing. The breathing bit made me a bit dizzy because I'm not used to doing such long, slow, deep breathing things. It made me a bit dizzy and, you're lying down, so what's the worst that can happen? And then she started and she kept encouraging me to move. And
did you feel comfortable to move?
Yeah.
Because I didn't at first. I sort of got a bit more into it.
I wriggled. I wriggled my toes and wriggled my fingers and moved my knees up and down a little bit. I didn't move hugely, but I kind of,
But I think next time I go, I'll probably feel more free to move around.
I didn't feel the need to, but for the first, I would say half of the session, the longer it went on, the more stuck I felt. Like I was super glued to the bed. I couldn't move.
She did say that can happen. She said sometimes your legs can feel like cemented.
Yeah, but my whole body was cemented. And she said, feel free to move. And I said, I can't.
Oh,
and
so
also,
you spoke to her in the middle?
I did. I said to her in the beginning, should I tell you what's going on for me or should I not?
Well.
And she said, well, it's up to you. Some people do it in silence. Some people talk to me. And I said, okay, I just don't know the rules. But I always like to communicate what's going on because I want to know if it's weird or not. And also I can't shut up. So she said, feel free to move. And I said, I can't and I don't want to. I said, I feel glued. And I said, I know I can say this to you because you're the only person who won't think it's weird. I said, but I feel like I'm dead. I was blank. So when I say to you, I didn't hear the music, I was blank. I had no thoughts. I had no movement.
You had no thought?
Nothing. Nothing was going through my mind. I was...
That's so bizarre.
Blank. Normally when you're lying down and you're sitting still or you're doing nothing, all the thoughts go through your head, your to-do list or what you're thinking about or how your body's feeling or what you're doing later that day.
Well, I wasn't thinking either. I was visualising.
I was nothing. The best word I can use is dead. Gone.
But are we about to have a rebirth?
I don't know, but I said that to her. I said, I feel dead. And she said, yeah, it's normal to feel heavy, but if you feel like you want to wriggle, wriggle. I didn't really feel like I wanted to wriggle. And then 3/4 of the way through, I noticed my right arm was swinging. Like the elbow, I had my arm like this and my right arm started swinging like a pendulum clock, back, forward, and it got faster and faster and faster. Did you have the same?
No, I didn't have the same. But what I'm saying is I knew my arms were coming out wider and wider and wider, like in a Superman pose. Yeah. But I wasn't moving them. I wasn't consciously moving my arms like you probably weren't consciously swinging your arm.
Well, it just kind of was off the table and it just swung. Yeah. And then it just kind of got this rhythm and it just started swinging. And I thought, I'm just going to let this happen. Yeah. And the only reason it wasn't happening with my other arm was because of my frozen shoulder. So I had to keep that very much tucked in. Then I got a feeling of immense heartburn in my chest, even though I'd been lying down and I hadn't Anne had breakfast, so I don't know what that was about. And I said to her, I've got the most horrible burning indigestion pain in my chest. And she's kind of acknowledged it and I just let it happen. And then about 5 minutes later I started to feel really sick, and I remember that happening with the crystal healer. And the weird thing about that was she put some crystals on my chest, and then her and I both simultaneously felt really nauseous for 5 minutes during the practice. And I had that again. And then it just cleared. It just went. And I came to and said goodbye. And I said to her, was that? And we had a very small debrief about it, not a big one. And I left, and the only thing I realised was I was suddenly ravenous, like this hunger. Like when you've been swimming and you've got that post-swimming hunger, starving. And I still had this raging sore throat, and I had to go into a cafe, and I had like this huge soup with noodles, and I just sat there on my own, not even on my phone, just eating and eating, and I was starving. And then I went home and had a massive sleep. And I was in bed again at like 8:30 that night. But I think it's
you weren't feeling very well.
I wasn't
either.
feeling well. And she did say, like, sometimes it's nice to have a bath or a nap or just like be kind to yourself. Or so I did all that. And I woke up the next day and I thought, am I going to have like some emotional release, or am I going to cry, or is something going to happen? Nothing happened, and nothing has happened. The only thing I can tell you that has kind of stayed is I do have a feeling of feeling very extra centered.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. And I also know that when I'm holding stress, it's in my chest, and I often get a physical feeling of like my chest being squeezed. So I know when I'm very stressed, I'm not having a heart attack. I'm just feeling the stress as a physical thing in my chest. And I feel very kind of relaxed in my chest. And I feel very inwardly centered, almost like there's kind of a line running down me that's just keeping me pinned to the ground in a good way, in a centering way. And that's kind of the feeling that has kept with me. But it wasn't a huge thing for me. It was very subtle.
But what I find interesting, I think we should go to summary.
Okay.
What I find interesting is that I feel like I had this huge experience throughout the session.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it hasn't been so experiential after. I haven't felt, and she said it could take weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like certain things have been put more into place, especially with my kids, because of that beautiful visualization. But in myself, I don't feel massively different.
Yeah.
Whereas you didn't have such a huge experience, but yet it seems after has been more profound than mine. The after effects of it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel good, but I do wonder if because I went into it actually physically unwell, like feeling unwell, whether I couldn't really do any other healing stuff because I had a body that needed healing.
Hello. I also have a body that needed healing.
That's true.
Hugely needs healing around my back. And I did think that there would be, actually it has felt better in the last couple of days. It's felt a lot better. But, I'm also on antibiotics.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'd love to sit here and say, oh, she's healed my back and I can now go back to the gym. Honestly, I do feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I do think that's probably more down to modern medicine.
I do wish that my frozen shoulder was any better, but it's absolutely fucked. So I don't feel better. And that was,
but to
that was
feel
all that was wrong.
centered is amazing.
But I mean, I do normally feel pretty centered, but I'm very aware of that kind of physical stress sensation that maybe I'm just not particularly stressed at the moment, but it did feel like something came to the surface that was a very physical feeling and then kind of just passed through. And I do wonder if that's what it was. I don't know. And also I think sometimes with the healing stuff, you get it and you heal when it is something that is needed. And you went to her in a very depleted state, a physically and mentally depleted state. So I think it was something that you really needed for yourself at the time. And I don't think I really did. So maybe it just wasn't as big a thing for me.
But to be honest, Lauren, it doesn't matter what is going on. You would always say that you would be going to her you didn't need anything.
But I could say I'd had a really tough week or month or something.
But you would no, and I know you haven't.
Yeah.
But you would never say that. Never. You wouldn't. You would never say that.
Maybe not. I don't know.
You wouldn't.
I don't know. It's hard to describe.
I loved it. Do you know how much she charges for a session?
I don't know, actually, because we were gifted our sessions, so I don't know.
I'm curious to know what she charges. I mean, I really want to go back to her.
Yeah.
And I will definitely book in with her. I mean, depending on the cost.
Yeah.
I think it was really good for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it was really good for you.
And I will never forget that image of the girls on my back.
It's a very powerful
Yeah.
thing.
And there was this other part, actually, I've just remembered. It was all about feminine energy. And it was all about the feminine energy that I give off and the feminine energy that's all around me. That's it. And then at the end, when I was flying around the girls and there was like a circle of women around me, faceless,
Yeah.
but all like my tribe of women
Nice.
around me. It was really beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful.
How lovely.
Yeah. And it's given me a huge sense of peace going forward with my girls.
That's amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely. What a lovely story.
Thanks.
Love it.
Yeah, it was
Love
really
it.
gorgeous. So a big thank you to Anna for gifting us those beautiful sessions. Anna, I will be back. If you want to be in touch with Anna, you can email her, anna@innerworks.studio.
Yes, that's her website. We're going to link it in our show notes so you can have a look at her website and everything that she does. She's pretty special, I think.
She's magnificent in what she does. And I asked her in the interview, didn't I? Because I was really intrigued to know if this is a draining process for her.
Yeah, well, I actually talked to her a lot about that at the end of my session, because I said to her, often I pick up stuff from people who do any energy work on me, or if I have a massage, just a normal massage, I often pick up on the person's shit. Like, I know it's weird, but I do.
Yeah.
I said, I just don't get anything from you. Don't pick up anything from you. And she said, no. Like, that's part of the work, is you just do the work and you throw it out the window. As
That's
in,
what
like,
she said.
throw the energy, like you don't absorb any of the energy yourself. And that's a good practitioner.
That's an amazing practitioner. She's very special. I'm really happy that she came into our world.
Yeah, she's lovely.
If you want to be in touch with us, that's hello@theselfcareclub.co.uk. We've got one more week left of July, haven't we? And then in August, we are going to be coming back with some of our old shows.
Yeah.
We're going to be back on Friday for our weekly wellness roundup show. And then next Monday, we have a very special guest in. We have the Big Fat Greek Mother. That's her name on Instagram, and she's got a huge following and she's absolutely hilarious, and it's the most beautiful interview. So please make sure you tune in for that next Monday.
Yeah.
And we'll be back on Friday.
See you then.
Hello everyone, I'm Kat Farmer.
And I'm Marianne Jones. And we want to ask, are you past giving a toss about what people think?
If so, then please join us for our twice weekly podcast, Been There, Done That, Got the Podcast, where we wang on about misbehaving hormones, inappropriate crushes, and debatable fashion.
All while navigating the banana skins of life in a mid-heel.
Download Been There, Done That, Got the Podcast wherever you listen to your pods.